Hey, it's Jose Galison of No Way Jose. You can find me on the No Way Jose YouTube channel. You can also find me just about anywhere podcasts are at. My guest today is fucking TopLobsta. The topic today is just who the fuck is TopLobsta. That's just kind of what we're going to be talking about, who he is, what he's about. As always, give me money, patreon.com. So that's No Way Jose 2020. You can give me crypto and the Fed.app. Also No Way Jose 2020. Go check out TopLobsta. Motherfucker is doing good shit. He's got great shirts. He just did my rebranding, which I'm super grateful for. And yeah, let's go ahead and bring this dude on. Let's fucking do it. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, Jose? How's it going, man?
Going good. Yeah, no, dude, I wanted to bring you on because it's like, I don't know if you've done any now. I saw you on an episode with Reed, but it's like, I don't know, it's like you just kind of popping up in the scene. I mean, not that you've already always kind of been in the background, but it's like no one like, who the fuck are you? Like, what are you about? Like, I mean, we're not trying to dox you. I know you've already had that, but like, just like what makes you tick? Like, what are your thoughts on stuff? Like shit like that, like, because you're just kind of the guy in the background with the dope ass fucking drawings and shit. And
yeah, man,
I'm just kind of wanted to get you better.
Just a random lobster, man, that loves liberty and loves to fucking draw some shit. And I decided to draw some shit for you guys. But you're actually my second solo show. I was on with Tommy Salmons last Friday. I think the episode's gonna come out soon. That was
contacted you first. It was my idea first, wasn't it?
Actually, it's if Justin Campbell is listening, Justin contacted me to go on Peddling Fiction. I have to get back at him, and then Matt from Why Libertarian contacted me a while back. So I'm gonna be on next week with him.
Dude, Matt's the shit. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Matt and all those Blue Star guys, man, they're fucking awesome, and they're close to me. So maybe I'll meet them up one day. They're pretty cool.
So the lobster thing, is that a Peterson thing, or is that a fucking, because you're obviously from the north, so like I was talking before, I'm originally from Maine, so that's obviously like a big Maine thing, is lobsters. So
yeah,
I didn't know if it's a mixture of the two, or
I don't do that kind of hunting. Yeah. It's the first chapter of Jordan Peterson's first book, where he talks about the lobster, and basically the lobsters will fight with each other, and every time one wins, he gains more dopamine and he stands up larger and taller, and that makes him the top lobster. So yep. I kind of took that from him because he was one of my inspirations kind of coming into this weird liberty thing. The road that I took here has been so skewed, but yeah, so I took that from him, and I've been using that for a little while to, I don't know. At first I was just kind of shit posting, and then I got banned, and then I started to do like weird t-shirts for whatever the hell I thought was cool, and eventually it turns into this kind of odd niche thing where I'm designing for podcasts and profile pictures or whatever people need.
I mean, it's pretty fucking smart because it's like, I mean, every one of us, like when we get started, like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm fairly decent at carrying a conversation. I kind of lean on my guests a lot, but I mean, that's one of the biggest things for me starting was like, having a fucking some art intro, whatever shit like that. So it's like filling that niche. And then there's always like, there's so many people, and it's like, you get on the ground floor, you get your name in there, it's some dude who's like, like me. I mean, I think when I hit you up, I was still probably under 150 subscribers, maybe even under 100 when I hit you up. I mean, it took a while to do the branding, but you got around to it eventually. But like fucking now I'm at almost 300. I don't know. Hopefully it keeps going. We'll see, So, I mean, it kind of makes sense even from just an economic perspective. Not saying that you're just being some crafty cunt that's like, I'm gonna, but I mean, even if you are, there's nothing wrong with that. But
it's just grifting, just straight up grifting.
People talk shit about grifting, but there ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, I guess it depends. Like, if you're weird about it, it really just depends on how you go about it. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, you're trying to, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, me and you are both trying to have fun, but I mean, you're trying to make money. I mean, I'm trying to make money, but I also am not disillusioned that I'm ever going to be like rich or anything. It is like, it's mostly for fun, but it is also like a small part of it. It's like, it's nice to have a little bit of a revenue stream. And if I can get a little bit of a revenue stream, fuck yeah, I'm about it. But like, we're fucking capitalists here.
What I originally started doing print on demand stuff. So I was doing, it's called Amazon merch. You can make designs, submit them to Amazon. They approve them, and then they're online and you can sell them. So I was doing that kind of stuff, and I was trying like, I don't know, bullshit like Mother's Day or, topical things, because people, when you first get into this, they're like, oh, you got to do topical stuff that's seasonal, that'll sell. And I was doing that. I wanted to, let me just preface this. I wanted to make myself uncancelable, if that's a word people use. You know, I have a good job. I drive a truck or whatever, but I don't think that life ends there at your job. I think you should be constantly trying to be self-sustaining in any kind of way. So I was like, all right, I can draw. Let me see what I can do. And, you know, I bought a tablet, then bought a better one, and then bought another one, and then used a different operating system to eventually what you see now. And so, yeah, originally I was doing like, I don't know, bullshit niche stuff for like Father's Day and Easter and shit like that. And I hated it. So I was like, I don't really like this. I was making sales, but it's not for me.
It's like
so I was like,
uninspiring kind of almost, I would think, you know?
Not at all.
Like uninspiring. Yeah.
Exactly. I could make a full salary off of it, and I still would not want to do it. So I was like, well, what do I like? And I was like, I like conspiracy stuff, and you know, I'm a libertarian, I guess, if you want to call it that. If you notice in my profile, I don't say libertarian or anything like that. I just Liberty Lobster, but I don't put really a title on me. I guess ANCAP, whatever. I don't care. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do Liberty shit and start doing like Liberty drawings. And I was doing that, and I was like, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter for a year, maybe. Yeah, putting it on MeWe and all these places. And you know, it's kind of like insanity when you just keep doing something and there's just no response to it. But I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing it anyway. No one's really paying attention, but I'm just gonna keep doing it. So I just kept doing it and doing it. And I think one of the first things that got picked up was my Libertarian Tupac for Dave Smith. I don't know if you saw that shirt. Yeah, he did. He did like a weird limited release around, I think it was around the election. So that was pretty cool. And I was like, all right, you know, it's, you know, what I'm doing here is not like complete garbage because some people like it. And he made some sales off of that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to keep going with that. And that's just what I did. I just keep drawing and keep drawing.
Yeah, a lot of this though, it's like, I mean, it's kind of similar to sort of what I do. It's about building a name for yourself, and it makes sense that you found this niche to like build a name, because like, I mean, there are so many people that are just creating like the print shit. You know, they figured out how to some program and make some art and do shirts. I mean, I know it's a little unique for you because you actually draw them. A lot of people just have like programs. Like I know multiple people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's a side hustle, but it is like, if you want to set yourself apart from the others and make a name for yourself, you know, you gotta kind of be different. And there is something to like plugging away, because I mean, that's what I mean. I've been doing this for fucking well over like probably 6, 7, 8 months, and like, so it's like you got to build up a name for yourself, and it's a lot of its reputation. And so I don't know, there definitely is like, I don't know, you definitely did find a good little niche, and I definitely dig it. Just real quick, kind of curious, because you brought up Peterson a bit ago, and I used to be I wouldn't say a huge fan, but I was kind of a big fan of him. He was very interesting, but I think like, I don't know, for me personally, there was a period of time where I was very enamored with him, but then after a while, I personally, and probably a lot of people might get irritated, started to realize he talks in a lot of profundities, I believe is the word I've heard before, where he says shit that sounds really profound, but then you really think about it and you're like, that's not that fucking profound. Like he has a way of speaking about him, and don't get me wrong, like he is kind of saying basic shit, so it is like important, but I don't know, especially a lot of times with like a lot of his religious shit where he's talking like, and he gets so out there and abstract, and then you really then break down what he's really saying, and you're like, oh, like we're really not saying anything that deep. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have a similar thought. I kind of got lost with him after a while, but he definitely is still a unique thinker in his own right. But I don't know. That's kind of been my thing. I got a little less enamored with him as time went on, and I realized like, oh, he just has a way of speaking about him that makes it sound like everything he's saying is really fucking deep. You know?
I guess I sort of agree. His biblical series for me was, I thought that was some of his best work. And I see what you say about like religion and stuff, and I get it, I understand. But I thought that some of his the biblical series, at least 1 through 3, was pretty damn good. But where he lost me was I don't know. I wasn't really a wasn't a Republican at the time, but during the Kavanaugh trial, when he came out and he said, listen, you know, the Republicans should just put him away because he's causing too much chaos and we need to have some common ground. And at that time I was like, no, fuck you. Like this is there's no compromise. Like he should know that. He's the one who said that you don't apologize to the mob. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's like kind of like Elon Musk on SNL. Like somebody got to you and you kind of changed your tune here. So from then I was suspicious. And then I don't know, his most recent thing where he said he's getting the vaccine, he's getting it even though he had the virus. Yeah.
Don't worry. I don't care. Like my big thing is I'm trying to hit 300. That way I can sync my shit up to library. And then, I mean, I haven't really been censoring. I know you said like, oh no, the Vex, but like, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm like 20 subs away. So I'm like, so if you're watching this now, go fucking sub. Cause I have like, it would be shitty if you did somehow magically get me taken down like fucking 10 to 20 subs before I get to my goal or whatever, but be able to get it on library. I mean, which even then I could still put it on library. I'm just being lazy, and it's just nice to have it sync up with your YouTube channel because I'm pretty sure you can do it manually that way, but I'm not worried about it. I mean, just I guess don't be dropping like N-bombs and stuff. We'll save that for the group chat.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, I mean it's frowned on.
But anyway, that's where he lost me. He really lost me because it's I don't know. I guess just say what you're gonna say and be unapologetic about it. Don't backtrack. That was my theory at the time. It kind of still is my theory. Say what you mean because the rest is all lies. Yeah. That's actually a chapter in his book, right? Whatever, man. Fuck that guy fell off.
Yeah, I honestly, I listened to pretty much listened to like all his podcasts and stuff. I never really read any of his books or anything like that. But I don't know. That was just kind of like after a while, he just kind of I realized because I know you brought up the big bull stuff, but like his big thing is like how a lot of it's just literary metaphors and like how it's these deep archetypes and stuff like that. And it's like once you realize like, oh, you're just saying like everything's the hero's journey, like in a literary sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's cool concept, but then when you realize like, oh, like so you're just kind of like you're really just more of a literary lesson than anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think people like Jordan Peterson. It's like for me to say this, but I think that they're like stepping stones in your like your learning journey. So you go from him and then you go to the next person. What can I learn next? I told someone on Twitter the other day that Republicans are libertarians who stopped learning. They just they get to a certain point and they're like, this must be it, and then they stop. And I don't know, maybe they're salvageable or maybe they're just ignorant.
Yeah, there's a reason why so many people, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people like libertarian types that come from the left, but a lot come from the right. And it's because we are ingrained with those like liberty values. It's just that we just don't apply logic and think them through. We just go, hoorah, liberty, that's fucking awesome. But then we don't realize like, yeah, but in reality, like what you're advocating is not at all liberty, like so
it's close. Like, it's like a perverted, retarded version of liberty, and maybe if you keep thinking it through, you can get to where. Sometimes I wonder if what I think and know now is like the end all be all. It seems like it, but I've in the last 5 years or so, I've let so many ideas die and what I believe die in general. I've gotten comfortable with it,
Yeah, so, I know. I feel like I'm still kind of always evolving somewhat in my thinking. So I that is one thing I do genuinely try my best to not be a cunt about like concepts, like thoughts that I have. Like, for example, a lot of people know that I don't agree that we should utilize it. And we'll get into this later because I want to hear your thoughts. But I don't agree with like strategically with utilizing the political system to further liberty. But I always try my best. Like my absolute best to caveat with, it's like, I'm not trying to fight with you. Me and you, like we usually the people I'm talking with about this are like, we have the same end goal. Like, but it's like, I just disagree with you on strategy. And I also am like, and also in the same breath, a year from now, I could have a completely different idea. Like, this is just what I think now. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could be right. Like I just had a episode with a fucking, with Clint and, if you confirm Lanklet or Travis, we did like a fitness episode, and it came up that we were like,
Mr. Cum Gutters.
Yeah, Mr. Cum Gutters. We were talking about how a lot of life is fake it till you make it, and like I brought up that like I'm kind of to some extent always not 100% sure about what I'm saying. So it's like That's why it's like you kind of also always be careful to not like be so indignant, because there's so many things that like I can think of that earlier in life I was very indignant about being right about, and then now I'm like, oh fuck, I was such a dick. You're like, I was so wrong.
Do you ever get like embarrassed? Like sometimes I'm just like driving and randomly I'm like, oh, I said that like 15 years ago. Oh God, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
No, the fake it till you make it shit is actually interesting, because I'm every day I wake up, I'm just waiting to let you motherfuckers down. Like eventually I'm like, man, you know, I don't know. I'm doing this shit for Josh like every week, and I'm like, I just feel like I'm gonna let everybody down eventually. But whatever, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I don't know really how you could, unless you start producing like shit fucking drawings. I don't know. But you're doing pretty good so far. So luckily, it's like you're so much hinge on like if you, I don't know, if you say terrible things online, because like somebody like a podcast like Josh, if he says some like fucked up shit, like that could like really fall. And I guess it could kind of you too, but at the same time, it is like, well, here's like my drawings, and you kind of to some extent hang out in the background. And so I can see why you have too, because it's like the more you come out in the light, the more you expose yourself to a downfall to some extent.
Yeah,
you know? So
Josh put up the other day, he's like, who should I have on the show? And a couple of people were like, oh, do TopLobsta. And I was like, maybe he should wait until he sees me talk with like Tommy and then now Jose to make sure that I'm not a complete retard. Which I mean,
thought you did good in Tommy's show. I mean, I haven't seen well, not Tommy's show, but on the Reed show. I haven't seen you obviously in Tommy's yet. Did he even release it yet?
I think whatever day is today, Friday, I think he said. But yeah, that show was wild, man. Quincy's a wild motherfucker, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Reed's face. I hope Reed sees this. I enjoyed Reed's face like during certain parts of that show, because I was kind of like poking Q a little bit. I was like, you know, tell him about the eating ass. Anyway.
Yeah, no, Reed. It's funny. I had him on my show, and we were talking that like I kind of had a weird vibe about him at first, because
that was a great episode. Sorry to interrupt. You sent
good.
It to me. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, because I had like a weird vibe, because he did kind of like have all these people that were super like kind of blue-pilled-ish, and like, so I was very like hesitant, and I hadn't really listened to him a lot. So I was like, and he always was, and then realized like later, I'm like, no, dude, this dude's fucking bass. Like he's just, I don't know, it's just kind of funny, like how perceptions can make you like think things, you know.
He's Reed pilled. Yeah, let me throw something by you. I got an idea last night to do like another T-shirt, and like Ron Paul, I guess maybe hand in a pill, and it'll say Ron pilled. I don't know.
Ron pilled.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it.
I got to draw the whole thing and show. Okay, all right. Well,
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, when you're talking about something that involves aesthetics, it is like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that it's like, fuck, I got to draw it up. But you're like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I got to see it first. And I'll be like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like the idea, but I don't know.
We'll see where it goes.
I'm trying to envision it. Maybe it's also like what the picture is in your head might be like way cooler than the picture in my head. You know what I mean?
So forget it.
I don't know. I mean, you're the artist, so I don't know. I just talk shit. So you're a family guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get wife, kids, all that shit.
Wife, 2 kids, under 3. My daughter's gonna be 3 soon. My son just turned 1. So you know, yeah, man. That stage it's crazy in this house.
Yeah. How old are you?
32. 32.
Okay, early 30.
I'm 32.
I mean, if you didn't want to dox yourself, you give me a rough estimate. Yeah, I'm 29, and I have 2 daughters, 8 and 11.
Oh, wow, so you started early.
Yeah, this guy fucks.
This guy smashes, man.
Yeah, or at least I used to. I've been married for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that shit drops off after a while. I was talking in the pre with Clint and Travis, and like you see, I have a mustache now. And like I like that she hates mustaches. So every now and then, just for fun, I'll like grow it out and see. And she's also super unobservant, so it'll take a while before she even notices I have one. And like she still hasn't yelled at me. She'll like, I don't know how. I think she's just like, maybe she just noticed and didn't say anything. So I'm waiting for her to say something.
He's like, no, baby, you gotta understand. There's this guy. He drives a truck. He's on YouTube. He has a great mustache, and we're all doing it. So I joked with them saying that like now what I'm gonna do is this is gonna be like I told them that like now the joke is gonna be that like I'll shave it every time I get laid. So the bushier the bushier my mustache is, the rougher you know my life is right now. I feel you, man. I feel you. There's like no space. These kids are unapologetic, man.
Dude, it's like it almost kind of only gets worse in some senses the older they get. I mean,
fuck.
Being married. I mean, I don't know how your old lady is, but my wife is like, there's no banging while the kids are up. So,
well, yeah.
like, I don't know how yours is. So it's like, and then the older they get, the longer they're up, and then like, oh god, the more that they're actually like a formed human being that understands things. So you can't just be like, they're sleeping in the crib. Who cares? Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, get in there. We're getting there with the girl. She's like, she's repeating me now, so I'm like, shit, I gotta watch what I say around her.
Yeah, no, that is rough. Like, especially because me and my wife have a little bit different philosophies there when it comes to like swearing. I kind of don't care. I mean, a lot of people like if my kids swear, but then the problem is they go to school and then they swear and they're like, oh my god, and then like I don't care. A word's a word. Like as long as they aren't like calling people and being mean to people, I don't care. But I don't know, whatever. My kids don't swear. Like really, I mean.
Yeah. Actually, my house is up for sale right now. I mentioned on the other podcast, but we're trying to sell to like get more equity, and then obviously we want to move down to Florida, and the idea is to make the money work in a way where we could have one person work and then homeschool, so that way my kids could curse freely in the house.
No, I definitely am at a point where I'm really wishing I'd restructured my life a lot differently, and I'm making a lot of changes. And like now my kids are a little bit older, and I really like that is one thing I'm like I wish I had, because my kids are in public school. I'll admit I'm not in any way that like I'm trying to get out of the military right now. Most people know, so like finances are about to be tight there. So it's like I definitely can't swing. Also, then trying to have one of us homeschool, but it's like, you know, I mean, if I had known like what I know now, like I would totally restructured my life entirely differently. But you know, it is what it is. You're where you're at, and you got to work from there, and you know, do it the best you can. So, and it looks like you guys are doing that for sure. Like, you definitely do not want to be where you're at. Like I've been saying a lot, like get the fuck out of the blue states and get out of the fucking cities. And I mean, I feel kind of bad because it's like I'm literally just there by a stroke of luck, like where I'm at in a rural red state. So like, you know, but I still stand by. That's where you need to be. But you know,
man, the perception of my family. I've been living here my whole life, so the perception my family has on like rural America is kind of like, I guess it's kind of how rural Americans see New York City. They're like, oh, you know, it's a bunch of rednecks. You go there, they're gonna shoot you. I'm like, whatever. Like where I grew up, there were shootings across the street from my house every day. So it's like they don't really understand. Or I guess they don't value liberty or any kind of freedom or just autonomy. And it's when you talk to the people about that, especially family members, it's kind of maddening. That's why I'm we were talking before on Facebook. I'm way less amicable than I am on Twitter, because maybe on Twitter I'm surrounded by my mutuals, people like you and you know, people who I respect. And if I don't like them, I just fucking block them. But on Facebook, it's my family. So I'm like, you know, how do I explain it? I've kind of given up trying to.
Yeah, we were talking too. Like a lot of this came out. A lot of this was actually straight up developed out of me forever ago getting an alt, and that's because like this is an alt. But I get that completely. Where you're like, you get to a point you're like, why am I arguing with family? And it's like, I can probably change so many more minds by fucking like dealing with just random strangers than with my fucking family. Although it's like those are the ones you want to change the minds the most. But it's like, I don't know, at some point it's like maybe if you start living your values, I feel like that's the better way to, because for example, my family is like very like shitting on me for trying to go to the military for one, like, because they very much are like, I understand where I'm coming, like they get my values and stuff, but it's like they just don't understand because they're so caught up in the traditional American dream and how the money is supposed to be. And, you know, you got like, I'm halfway to a pension and blah, blah, blah. And like, but it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, things might be tight, but like, I mean, they don't have this like Austrian economic like concept that we do. Where like, I don't know. My big thing is like, I try to stress this a lot because I feel like I worry that I'm like trying to come off like I'm some sort of fucking like hero or some shit. Like, no, I'm getting out for selfish reasons. I've been an ANCAP for a while, and I knowingly stayed in the military. I mean, I'm a mechanic in the military. I felt bad about it. I still feel bad about it, but like part of it was like this COVID shit where I'm like, fuck, I really am starting to think the crash is a lot closer than we thought it was. And it was like in my personal opinion, crashes, like if you are like in any way reliant on the government, you're probably going to be fucked. But like, if you like, don't get me wrong, like being a government employee is probably preferable than being some other generic person that's relying on the government, but it's still better to be not dependent on the government. So, because like that's my thing, and it's just like it's like even sometimes with my wife, who's a little bit further along than like the rest of my family, it's still like it's still hard to be like, all right, let's talk human action. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to bring them along these lines. Like, well, if you understand the boom bust cycle, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I was like, listen, Grandma, they just printed $3 trillion. I try to explain this shit to my dad too, and it's he tells me the same thing. He's like, oh, you got a good job here in the city, and this and that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go to Florida? There's no jobs in Florida according to these people, and all kinds of crazy shit happens in Florida according to them. But I'm like, listen, I don't think you don't see the writing on the wall clearly. Like we're all kind of just sitting on this sinking ship, and it's and you don't notice it, but I'm kind of freaking out. I'm freaking out for the rest of you guys. And I actually shouldn't be. I'm stressing myself out with this shit.
Oh no, I mean, this may be bad, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, part of why I'm doing this is to be like to let everyone else know. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if you've read Sterner, but like I always go on about Sterner, and he's very much he's a big individualist, and like my concept is it starts with the individual and you work out from there. At the end of the day, my first concern is me, my second concern is my family, third concern is my community, and so on and so forth. So like, don't get me wrong, I have love for all y'all, but like, I mean, I'm doing my best to be like, hey, it's what y'all gotta do. But I mean, you can what's this thing about leading a horse to water, whatever the fuck, I mean, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, like, here's what's going on, and like, I mean, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna try my best to like do what the best thing is, and let other people know. I might be wrong, but for the most part, I'm trying to go the right way. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm legitimately like freaked out about the future as well. But like, part of this is like too, like I also like with me like getting out and shit. Like I'm more like I'm thinking long game too, because like my family and stuff, and like I don't know, like things are getting weird. Yeah, definitely for sure. And like
you have to do what's best for your family, whether that's staying where you're at or doing something else. So fuck what everyone else thinks. If they if they want to be completely purist libertarian and say you shouldn't rely on the state, I mean, okay, but they're not paying your bills.
Yeah, no.
So do what you got to do and use that as a fucking a springboard to your next thing. Set yourself up. I tell everyone. That's why, like, I'm doing like this little, what I guess is a side business, but you should have a separate stream of income coming in. That's it. It's real simple, and everybody can do it. Even my wife is doing it now. It's kind of crazy to see, because she's not like an entrepreneurial type. She's more of she's an RN, so she's a professional, and now she's kind of like, she's doing stuff. She sees me making sales, I guess. So she's like, fuck it. This guy's an idiot. I can do it. And she's doing well. But everybody should be doing that. That's it.
No, I mean, there's something you can do. And I mean, like, I get it. It's hard. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have a wife, 2 kids. I have this podcast that I make. Oh, at this point, I'm making like, I don't know, $30 a month. But it's something, it's growing, Yeah. Like fucking. But then I also have I've said before, I breed cats, which sounds ridiculous, but I breed hairless cats. So like, I mean, there's always something you can do, and like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We can't get sidetracked, but it's kind of like I am seeing that me and you have a lot in common in a way. Obviously, you don't work for the state, but it's very similar to where, like, I mean, I'm trying to get out from like working for the state. You're trying to get out of the city. We're both like in the spot where we got some big life changes going on, and it's also like, I feel like the normies like look at what the decisions we're making and are like, yo, that's not the right move. You know what I mean? And like, so it is kind of like sometimes it is like kind of almost like the term gaslighting, we always hear it in a different context, but it's like, to some extent you're like, am I fucking crazy?
All the time. Yeah.
But the funny thing is these people that are like, well, be critical of, I mean, I don't know if the same thing goes with you, but like, there are so many fucking times that like, especially in the past year, they're like, holy shit, you've been saying this forever. Like, you were totally right. Blah, blah, blah. You predicted this. You predicted that. And you're like, well, like, what? Yeah. But then why will you never like listen to me when I'm like the next thing? I
realize, whatever. Fuck them. Yeah. But I realize that on Facebook a lot. I don't make like these points. I used to like argue with them and say, well, this is actually why, and it ended up with me defending like Donald Trump all the time. I'm like, these motherfuckers, you make me defend Donald Trump, but it's like, you're just so wrong that I felt like I had to. So I just stopped doing that. Now I just post memes and just shit that will definitely offend you. And the amount of people, I'd say like maybe 15 people have private messaged me and said, hey, there's some kind of truth to that. What do you think? What do you think about this? Because I noticed at my job XYZ. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And people that you wouldn't expect to be doing that. Yeah. They're still not out their closet. They're still blue pilled, but they know what's going on. And you know what? If they want to stay on that boat, then they're fucked. Whatever. Yeah. That's not me. No, I told you.
It's funny too, because it's like me and you probably, like, I guess maybe you're not. I mean, you kind of are, but you like, because I'm more of a, like, doing the podcast thing. You're doing like more behind the scenes a little bit, but me and you both kind of have our personas online. But like at the same time, in real life, and I've said this on podcasts, I don't hide from the fact I'm an anarchist, that I have these beliefs, but I also am not in your face about it. Like, generally speaking, I mean, if someone wants to get in a conversation with me, but almost most people I know, then like a day-to-day, know that's where I'm at. I'm not like, I've gotten to the point, like, I don't know, it's kind of like I've talked a lot about having like an angry atheist phase. I've kind of passed my angry anarchist phase where I'm like,
yeah,
here I am. Like, I mean, I'm just interacting with you as a normal human being. And like, if you ask me something related to it, I mean, I'm not going to back down. I'm also not going to be combative. I'm just going to casually be like, yeah, well, this, you know, if they ask me my opinion, like, well, I don't even think we should have this, you know, like,
and
like
this
that.
is why you should go fuck yourself. Very nicely. Yeah.
But even then I found that's a good way to go. Cause you don't really, it kind of almost doesn't cause arguments. Cause you're not really, it's almost like you don't have this chip on your shoulder. And if you are coming off as lackadaisical and relaxed, and as if it's not something to be ashamed of or boisterous about, then they're like, it just kind of normalizes it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, but I used to do like the small chat with the guys at my job and kind of like plant seeds and stuff like that about libertarianism or anarchy or whatever. But I've just been so busy drawing. So whenever I finish my route, if I get back to where I'm, you know, where we sign out, I just kind of mind my own business. So they must. I think that they're actually worried. They're like, damn, Danny's been saying this shit is going to collapse for a while, and now it might actually collapse because he's quiet.
So we've kind of beat around the bush a little bit. I kind of want to talk about religion, because we've talked a little bit not offline, but online, but off of this. And
based and true.
Based and true. Yeah, we had joked before that I was gonna to pull like a malice and be like, religion, based in fake and gay or based and awesome. No other choices. Go. Like, yeah. But. So you think it's based in, okay, so you're straight up religious, because I was getting the vibe that like you had some like weird no okay, so explain yourself.
This is a kind of thing where we were just talking about, where you discover libertarianism and then you're like, holy shit, guys, there's like freedom that we don't have, and then I got to tell you about it. And then there's things about libertarianism, like the Libertarian Party, that just upset you. And then, you know, you kind of go down that rabbit hole. Then I'm like, I don't want to be involved with. So I went through that transformation with religion, I guess, Christianity. I met my wife in the church. I played guitar for years, and that's what we did there. I kind of ran the music ministry there. And then, you know, things happen, and you realize that the church is filled with people. It's not necessarily whatever you think of God as. So, but you already know that. I think your issue is with the whole God thing itself, which to me is neither here nor there. But yeah. Well,
I generally take the. I am an atheist, but I am an agnostic atheist, because a lot of people don't understand the terms. Agnostic or Gnostic is I don't know, you might know this or not, but agnostic or Gnostic, but for the listeners, that is their answers to different questions. Agnostic or Gnostic is a question of knowing. Generally speaking, I don't like Gnostics in any regard, for the most part, unless you're talking about something extremely like based in reality, like this is a cup and you're holding a cup. Like, sure, okay, you can know that. I mean, we can get in like very philosophical and be like, well, technically you don't know that because you're basing that off of only your senses. But for the most part, we can be, you know, kind of base ourselves in reality and go, yes, that's an okay thing to be Gnostic about. For most things in general, I generally don't like people that are certain to that extent, or Gnostics, and we kind of talked about earlier, about anything, especially a God claim. Like, if you're claiming there's a magic man in the sky that does this or that or whatever. I know it. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. Like,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what
you may think
Aristotle.
you know it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Aristotle said the
So,
only thing I'm certain of is that
yes,
I don't know anything. So
exactly. Yeah. But
yeah,
now atheism or theism is a matter of belief. And so then belief is just
right.
something that meets your like your level of evidence that you would accept for a claim. And like, so I don't believe in a God. But that doesn't mean, I know a lot of people go, oh, you're an atheist. That takes more faith to be an atheist because you don't think that. I actually, it's not that I think there's not a God. It's that I don't know. It's literally just I don't know. I mean, but it hasn't risen to my, to the level to where I would be like, oh, okay. Like, I'm actually fairly friendly to the concept that maybe of a deist thing where there is a God and he generally doesn't give a shit about us, or like,
He's a
or, you know,
neocon.
yeah, he's a neocon. Like, he doesn't care about us, or he's an asshole or whatever, or just like, but not. I mean, I do find like Reed kind of goes on a lot about it's like the more specific of a claim you're making, the more I'm like, what are you talking about? So like, I'm actually wouldn't even be the least bit surprised. And if anything, I might even lean towards that we were probably created in some sense, some way by something you could call a higher power. But at the end of the day, I don't know. And that's I don't know, like, it's such a weird thing to even act like I have any sort of, anything at all. And I haven't seen any sort of evidence that would really lean me one way or another, aside from incredulity, to where I'm like, this is so crazy that it has to be made by God. But even that's like a very much like very fallacious thinking, to where it's like, I mean, maybe, I don't fucking know. Who knows? Maybe the reality just exists and that's that. And there's no God. I mean, I don't fucking know. Like, you don't know either. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, and so, yeah, I just more, I guess my biggest thing is just Gnostics in general. Just like people who assert they know something and they're like, no, you don't.
Well, I guess you can't know for sure and say definitely.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my personal belief. I asked my dad a long time ago about this, because I guess like after the heartbreak with the church and whatever, and you realize that like, organized religion is bullshit. I was like, well, how do you know? Like, why? Because he's a religious guy and he's one of the best people I know. So I'm like, how do you know that there's a God? Because I see the way you act, and I see like the way he's acted out his entire life and the decisions that he makes every day. It's influenced by God, by what he sees as God. And he told me, he's like, listen, man, I'm not concerned with what other people think. I think he thinks that he obviously wants me to believe, but he's like, I'm not really concerned with what other people think. If they think that there's a God, fine. If they don't, fine. But it's the personal relationship that he has with whatever you'd like to call it. And I see him reflect that in his everyday life, He's there. Mm-hmm. Listen, he was there every day after work. He worked for the post office, worked his ass off, bring me to baseball games, do this and that. And you can tell that there's just something different that wasn't reflected in some other people. So, yeah, like I can't tell you for sure. I don't know. And I'm not going to argue with you. I don't really care. You can believe what you want to believe. I guess I think that there is a God. I hope there is. I hope there's some shit, because otherwise, like, I don't know. Then what do we have? Like fucking lizard people ruling us, like Hillary Clinton? Whatever.
I mean, we have lizard people regardless. So
yeah, regardless, exactly. So like, why is God letting this shit happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. I think so. And I guess I lead my life the best I can, as if there were a God. If that makes any sense to you. Yeah.
And I honestly don't really care too much anymore. Like I said, I've said multiple times on my show and other shows, I'm past my angry atheist phase. Because there was a period of time where I was very much like, because it was a big part of my life and it did form a lot of things. And in some ways negative, I do think it fucked with my thinking. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things. I do think there are negative aspects to religion, especially, but that's all contextual. Really depends on what you're talking about. Like, if you just have some vague concept of there's someone who thinks I should do good things and not do bad things, fucking right on, brother. Like, whatever, cool. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of people have different beliefs and different religions form different things and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
everybody has that concept of I don't know, I should do good, not bad. I should do this here, not that. And that's kind of, I think that's coming from some kind of God-centric model from them, whether they call it God or whether they call it morals or whatever. the state. You see a lot of people using the state now for that. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's something different. So I don't even really like to call it God, because whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's an AI. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this is a simulation.
It's like, what is it? It's like statistically, that is a fun one too, going down the simulation theory rabbit hole, because it is like technically, statistically speaking, it's actually more likely that this reality is simulation. Am I saying it's a simulation? I don't think so.
It's very
I don't
possible.
know. It's definitely possible if you do run it through your head and assume that like some civilization could get to that level, then it would be like, it would only make sense they'd be having millions or billions or trillions of simulations going at once. So
let me tell you something crazy. So I told you that I was like the music, not the director, but I used to organize all the, I think you muted yourself, but I used to organize all this stuff. I
had to crack open a beer.
Okay, yeah. I used to organize like the fake sheets and the sheet music for the stuff. So I was like really immersed in music. And you notice that I'm also immersed in art. And when you do art on a tablet, a digital tablet, it's really just light. So if I put a red color on it, it's just light that's refracting at a higher frequency. That creates red, like on your hat. That's how I perceive that. And it's the same thing with music. With music, if I play an A note, that vibrates 440 hertz per second. So that's how I perceive that note. And then you can go down the scale, left or right, however you want to go. So it's like, this shit is just like straight up calculation. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, it's just math. When I play music, it's like, if sometimes you can play and just jam and do whatever you want. But sometimes if you're playing technically, it's just math. And sometimes if I'm drawing, if you see the latest one I did of Zuby, I did like a highlighter green, and then that's accented with a highlighter pink, and those are just like two colors on each side of this spectrum, and they go with each other because of the way that they refract. So I'm like, this is all just numbers. It's like ones and zeros. So yeah, maybe this is a simulation. I don't know. I don't even know if this is what this show is about, but whatever. This is what you people are getting. This is TopLobsta telling you some crazy shit.
Hey, we're just shooting the shit. Like, fuck it. I want to see where your head is at, what you're about.
In the clouds.
So it kind of, the next thing I want to touch on was morality. We were talking about religion. Those kind of, I figured it was a good segue from there to there. And I did touch on actually, I don't know, it'll be released by now, but I had Phil Labonte on. I was talking about, and I think I talked about Reed a little bit too, that I am starting to think that there is probably some utility also, even from like someone like me that's an atheist or whatever, of like utility to there being religious people. Because I do think, I personally am of the opinion that you can completely derive your morality from a logical and, way. Personally, I do. Like, really, it's as simple as, I've said it multiple times, is, hey, I don't want people to hurt me or take my shit. So wouldn't it make sense for me to advocate for everyone to do that? Not hurt people and not take their shit. It's really just that simple. Like, I know a lot of people are like, well, there'd be situations where blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, but now you're destroying your reputation and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, I do think, I think a lot of people do struggle with wrapping their head around that concept. I do think there's some utility to there being some vague prepackaged ideology of like religions that do have this like built-in morality to some extent. I would obviously, coming from where I come from, have disagreements on like whether those actual like, scriptures, or whether it be Islam or Christianity, actually really endorse the values that people think they do. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like the biggest thing that kind of drove me away from Christianity was it's clearly not cool, the homosexuality thing. And like for some reason, while I'm not gay, that was like a big thing. Like when I was growing up, was like the gay marriage thing. No, I'm not gay.
Shit.
In Twitter, I'm gay, but but like,
me too.
it never logically made sense to me. Like why, like the Bible would, I can understand on some sense, but at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't,
it's possible that it's possible that the Bible like speaks against that in like a not a minor way, but like briefly, the same way it speaks against like eating pork or shellfish, as like a warning to.
It's mentioned in the New Testament too. So I'm not trying to argue scripture. I was just
no. What I mean is, I'm not me neither. Because I don't really read the Bible as I don't read it literally. Like that's where people in the church also get, they'll jump down your throat if you think that, I don't know, Jonah was eaten by a whale and the stomach acid didn't dissolve him. I read it for like, all right, what's the story you're trying to tell me? And what's the story you're trying to tell these people that lived in a village, I don't know how long ago, that really didn't have this kind of concept of morality or whatever we think. They didn't have a Twitter or a Mises Institute to buy a book from and understand. So it's maybe it's some of that,
Yeah.
I don't think
I feel like you're baiting me right now. Like, part of me is like,
go ahead, go
like,
for
no.
it.
No, I don't really want to, because I feel like we're getting the weeds, but
Yeah.
I really don't care that much. It's just the autistic part of me that's just like,
yeah,
no, I get what you're saying. The looking at it like from because a lot of people look at like scripture as like a metaphor in some senses. I know it's a big Jordan Peterson thing, and I mean you can kind of get the weeds of like I actually do completely get it. There are obviously certain parts of the Bible that are meant to be read as they're legit fucking parables and shit. They weren't supposed to be literal, but there are parts where they're like it's pretty clear they're laying down moral edicts, and especially if you're talking New Testament,
Deuteronomy,
especially if you're talking New Testament, because there's always that like scapegoat that you can go, well, that was in the Old Testament and not the New, and Christ abolished the old law and blah 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 blah. But that's why you always people be like, well, that was in the Old Testament, and now like, all right, well, I'll find you a fucking quote in the New Testament.
yeah.
And there are quotes against homosexuality in the New Testament. So, but
people don't really consider also that. Forget it, man. My mom will hang me for this, but the Bible has been manipulated. There's been books left out, and it's been changed and translated. So I don't know. I can't really say. I know that when I've read it a long time ago, and then I'll read parts of it here and there, and I know that there's definitely some parts to it that will maintain value throughout time. And then there's parts to it where I just disregard. There's like, I don't know, I forget the guy's name. He has a bald pate and he tells God to sick some bears on these kids that made fun of him. And then he did it. It's like, okay, like it's neither here nor there, and people will use that and say, well, we should disregard the whole thing now. And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe there's something in there that will give you some value. Just like I was reading, I read Rules for Radicals or that new book, I forget the name of, Don't Throw Out the Comedians from Ben Burgess, your boy Ben Burgess. I read halfway through that, and it's like, listen, there might be something in there for me, and I think there was. I haven't finished it yet, but definitely there's something in there, like Rules for Radicals or whatever. Read what you can, take what you can from it. And
I'm by no means saying that there's nothing good to be taken out of the Bible at all or whatever. There is it's just when we're talking about an entire ideology, but even then it can be interpreted multiple different ways. But I was just going into that's kind of what the biggest thing that kind of pushed me away, because it just never made sense. That was one of the biggest flaws.
But it's not. Is it that, or is it the people that kind of beat you over the head with it?
I actually didn't really. If anything, it was actually the opposite, because. Don't get me wrong, there were definitely people, that were like made a thing of it, but if anything, like growing up, that was like a thing they kind of, ignored to some extent, that side of things. Don't get me wrong, there were some people that I knew that were very much like, yeah, no, that's a sin. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's not okay, especially with like the gay marriage debate. But a lot of it was just like ignoring and just breezing over the fact that like the Bible clearly in places condemns it. So I know I'm probably gonna get hate for this when it comes out, but and that's kind of the point. Like the Bible, has like I don't know. Growing up when I was a kid, like my parents were literally like believed the Earth was like 6,000 years old. Now they don't, and like almost. And you know what? That was actually a pretty commonplace belief in the church at that point in time. Like when I was growing up, and I'm only 29. So fucking, and now it is not a commonplace belief. There's and that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like they kind of. Even the church itself, to some extent, kind of shifts its belief based on what's like acceptable. Like even now with like the gay thing that I brought up, most people I don't really hang out in church much anymore, but I would surmise that that's not a commonplace belief in the church these days, or they kind of ignore it to where that it's wrong. You know what I mean?
They'll shy away from it.
Yes.
Because now it's socially acceptable. It was actually I was saying that to my my aunt. She's her and her husband that passed away, pastors of a Pentecostal church, and they were doing like big rallies marching against the gay marriage. And this was years ago when that was popular, and and okay. And I told him, I was like, you sure you want to do that? Like, you don't think that there's going to be any kind of like ill will towards you later? And I learned about Ron Paul and blowback and all that shit. Well, now, you know, now look what's happening. And it's not to say like, I don't know. I don't really know what's happened. I know that down by me, they're doing like some, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But it's like, you know, you excluded these people who should have never been excluded in the first place. And now it's almost like they're pushing you as far as they can go, like on purpose. Now they're antagonizing you in the church, the religious community. And you kind of deserve it. Because look at what you did to them, you know?
Yeah.
But it's annoying. It's fucking annoying.
But the whole thing I was getting, the whole segue I was building towards, I was just kind of want to know what your morality is roughly. Like, I'd assume I probably can guess, considering you come from like a religious perspective, somewhat. But I was just kind of like, do you believe in objective morality, subjective morality? I mean, how does that tie into like natural rights? Like, because like I've insinuated, I don't believe in objective morality because I don't. I mean, really, like the only way that makes sense, in my opinion, is if you have a God belief, because then you do have some place you can set your objective morality upon. But you know, like, I mean, people will argue that. But
you mean like as far as like judging other people, what they're doing wrong, maybe that kind of thing?
No, just objective and subjective morality is just usually just like whether like I don't know how to explain it. Like whether there is like definitive right and wrong, basically. So like. You know what I mean? Like, then that is a hard one. This is where a lot of people get into like start freaking the fuck out when you have this argument. Because you're like, well, if things are subjective, then everything falls to shit. And it's like, well, I mean, like, there are plenty of things that are subjective, and still within those subjectivity, like, preferable things arise to the top. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, morality can be subjective and still be like, well, there's a preferable mode of morality within subjectivity. You know?
Did you hear Clint talk with Thaddeus Russell on his podcast? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a point where they bring up postmodernism, and Thaddeus he's like, fuck you, because I guess he's tired of the question. But at some point in that conversation, Clinton was talking about Vin Armani and traditionalism, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And then Thaddeus Russell makes a great argument for postmodernism, and I'm like, I agree with that. But Thaddeus kind of went off and said, He kind of dismissed traditionalism also as like I guess it's garbage. He's like, no, that's not really the way to go, and it's not pro freedom. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I agree. You should have an open mind to certain things, and I'm not. I don't know. I try my best not to be too judgmental about what people do anyway, but maybe I want to live my life with a little bit of tradition. You know, maybe I want to emulate what my father did. I think it worked a little bit. Maybe I want to improve on his mistakes if I think that there were. You know, maybe I want to adopt some new ideas that I have now from this community of, you know, with you guys, that I see a lot of these great ideas, you know. Yeah. I'm somewhere in between.
It seems like you're kind of similar to me, because like I get kind of what you're driving at, and they're like with a lot of like you're kind of getting at with like culture kind of there, and like how like he did kind of dog, and I kind of am like in the middle where I can see how to some extent the modern day, say for example, the nuclear family, to some extent that is
that's what he said. Yeah, he was like, yeah, okay.
To some extent that is a modern-ish creation, especially in the scope of history. But I also is like, how much of that can we discount, and how much of that is actually just because like that's just like, I don't know, how can I say it? How much of that is just nature and what is driven. You know what I mean? I'm not saying necessarily that like, you know, I mean, a big part of this is kind of gets into like the state fuck shit up, because I mean, some of it is like not that everything's the fucking state's fault, but I do think to some extent it kind of drives certain norms and shit. Because for example, you know, the state is part of marriage, so it's instituted marriage. So it's like, say for example, to take it from Thaddeus' perspective and like how you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want. Like, well, now the state is to some extent endorsed man-woman marriage. You know, like now I know it's like man, woman too as well, but it's still one and one. So, you know, that kind of is like, you know, it kind of in some sense kind of eliminates like, say, polyamory from the equation. And like to some extent, like now they don't get to compete with the other, you know what I mean? Like, whereas if we didn't have the state involved in marriage, we could just have people that were, you know, having their own personalized, you know, cohabitation fucking situations, whether they want to call that marriage or whatever. And so who knows? Maybe there'll be some family down the road that has, some chick that's getting porked by 3 dudes she calls their husband. And, there's another family down the road with like 2 chicks or 3 chicks and a dude or whatever the fuck, who knows? And maybe somehow within that, these, like, it's almost like a free market of families. Amongst those rises a superior family, you know what I mean? But like to some extent,
now there's blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah, yes, and they're the superior race. No, but yeah. I think you get what I'm driving at. It's like the state kind of like I had someone trying to talk to me about this like before do I believe in these like traditional right cultural values? And it's kind of like yes and no because but it's at the same time it's like I think the state gets in the way of like if we didn't have the state, I do think it would be like the kind of cream rises to the top and eventually you kind of get what is a superior culture or whether that be in relation to a family, whatever. I do lean towards it's most likely something similar to a nuclear family personally.
You know what I mean? Like you make a good argument that the state does interfere because what throws a wrench in, like right away when Thaddeus Russell said, you don't need a nuclear family. I like before he said, well, you could have, a community of people raising the kids is like, yeah, it takes a village, whatever. But the state really, especially in New York, puts a bad taste in my mouth because I see a lot of single mothers and I see how that kind of family construction ends up. And I don't know, you can call me a traditionalist, but like, I'm not doing that. I'm doing the opposite of that. And I'm definitely not going to leave my kids no matter how much my wife pisses me off or whatever it is, because I feel like maybe it's my ego, but maybe the kids need me there, maybe they need a balance, right? My son falls down and my wife runs over to him. But if he falls down in front of me, I wait and see if he gets up,
Get up, bitch.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to bleed? What are you Yeah. They need that. They need, I think you need a little both yin and yang, but whatever. If you want to raise your kids with 2 moms, 2 dads, 1 mom, 1 dad, to go right the fuck ahead. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you do what you do.
Yeah, but even from like economic sense, when I'm driving, as a state like perverts the incentives to where it's like we don't know what is the superior setup to some extent because of the fact that they've kind of fucked. I didn't even think of the fact that you're getting at how the state does incentivize, divorced families and stuff like that because they all is also like the welfare, single mothers, stuff like that. So that is also they are like it is kind of funny how like you get this. Like it's almost like there's this concept of like this, takes a village is almost kind of this lefty thing. And they are also kind of similarly the ones pushing for this, like, well, there's no reason you should look down on a person who's raising their children alone. But it's like, that's also not the same thing as the raise a village. It doesn't mean just a single woman, like, you know what I mean? Like it would really probably be set up differently than that. Like it would probably be a community,
Maybe for them it's that way, but I wouldn't live in that fucking village. That's for sure. Yeah. I live in my own village with people. I'd have my own commune, like with a bunch of acres and people that I trust that will do things, or that we can sustain this together. People that I trust. That's it. And then we can figure that out later.
Yeah,
but
that's
not
very
with
much
you,
like
motherfuckers.
That's very much like a Hoppa thing with the Covenant community. So it's like we kind of already were talking about like on an individual level amongst families, but even then on a larger level on communities, you would have competing communities, and that was kind of like something Hoppa drove at. That you would have competing communities that would like you may have these areas where it's like I don't know whatever you could maybe consider the cultural lefties would kind of naturally migrate to that area, and then you could have the other people migrate to this area, and like. You would end up having different communities that, and even then on a community level would most likely have thriving communities and communities that were not doing as well. So like, it is like the state just in so many regards fucks with shit where it's like, we don't really know what, and that's why the cultural like argument, and to some extent is almost like it's almost an illusion. It's almost a fucking misnomer. It's like something that just like really distracts us from the real problem. Like, I mean, you want to have 3 husbands or bang a dude? Like, who cares? I mean, like, we're arguing about whether that is the, preferable way to live when it's like, really, neither of us really know. We're just making assumptions because the state has kind of fucked with us to not allow us to be able to have that, ongoing experiment at all times. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree completely.
All right, let's move on to, I kind of want to know, I have a feeling I kind of know about your political philosophy. Like, I know you said you don't like to put a label on it, but you like, No, we'll start off easy. Minarchist, anarchist, like, you know, I mean, I feel like you could easily put a label there, right?
Yeah, anarchist.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. It's because like, fuck, we're gonna have to end this early if you said something. Yeah. Oh, here's a fun one. Which would you prefer, monarchy or democracy?
Okay, but this is I already see. Yeah, I already know how this goes. I read that book. Did you see the book that I posted? From the Prince of Liechtenstein. Yeah.
Why am I asking this? I know your answer.
My boy Patrick. What's up, Patrick? He bought me that for Christmas, and it's a good book. It actually, he paid like $20 for it. Now it's worth like 150. So yeah, I guess a monarchy would be better. And for my reasonings, maybe because they have some kind of personal ownership in making sure that this shit doesn't just completely crumble. Right now, as a democracy, the democracy that we have, where we're just kind of switching guys out, like 70-year-old people out every couple of years, nobody cares. We're running this shit into the ground as fast as they can, as long as they can get theirs and get out. That's what's going on here.
And I was talking in one of our GCs, group chats the other day, and someone kind of brought up, and I don't know why I didn't thought of it in this mode, that in anything our ideal society, I'm assuming our ideal society. I mean, I assume that anarchy, private property anarchy, market anarchy, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, really, it would just be, say for America, 350 million monarchs. So like that's kind of what it. So that's kind of why it is like it makes sense that we would like monarchy would be preferable. Yeah.
No, we was kangs.
Yeah, we was kangs.
It's possibly it. I guess you're the kind of king of your own household, right? Well, yeah. Sort of. You make the rules, at least for your children, and the rest is a negotiation with your wife or however you want to run it. Yeah. So yeah, that's preferable to whatever the fuck is going on in DC right now.
Okay. Now, economically, I'm assuming you're on the capitalist side. I assume we can just probably breeze past that. I assume. So you're not
buy my t-shirts.
You're not like an Ancom.
No.
So okay, now I'm gonna want to talk about like thoughts on tactics and how we get there. This is where things get a little bit and this is like I like the caveat, and like we're really just I don't think any of us really know when it comes to tactics. Are such a super soft science. And it really is like I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, we need to go the Republican route. We need to elect the LP. Some people will be crazy enough to say elect a Democrat, which I don't know the fuck you would get there. But there are people who say that, or, like me who thinks that we should go more like the agorist route. And there are people who say all of them. Like, I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on it. And like I said, I'm not going to judge you one way or the other, unless you say like the Democrat thing. I might judge you a little bit.
Well, first things first. Mark Claire, I did a profile picture for you, and you just did a debate with Dave Smith and Tho Bishop, and I don't want to pay for the Patreon, so just send that my way because I want to see what you guys said. I go back and forth on this shit, man. Like Clinton, Tho had that. They had a debate. Should we do the Mises Caucus in the Libertarian Party or the Republicans? Should Dave run as this or that? I'm not really sure, man. I think like what we're doing here right now, what you've been doing for 60 episodes or so, just keep pushing, keep creating your own form of propaganda. Talk to who will listen. Reach the remnant. Drew had a great video about that. Reach the remnant. Reach the people that are still willing to listen. So my niche is not necessarily doing a podcast or interviewing people. I don't think I'm that good at it. So I'm creating visual propaganda. I want people. Someone today in Germany bought a Read Mises Not Mark shirt, and when they get that, they're going to wear that outside, I hope. And people will see that and maybe they'll say, what the fuck is that about? And then you start the conversation and you start to change minds from there. So I don't know. Whatever you can do to change minds. Does Dave Smith, should he take over the Libertarian Party? Maybe. Do it. I mean, it's right there. Do it. Should he go to the Republican Party and get treated like a Andrew Yang or a Tulsi Gabbard? Maybe. You can get a lot of followers. They have like I don't know how many 20 million followers or some shit like that. That's a good route. Talk to people about liberty. Talk to them about freedom. Talk to them about shit that they don't hear in public school or from their parents or their family. As long as you're saying this, that's what I had a kind of some mixed feelings when like Vin Armani was going after Dave Smith like that. It's like, come on, dude. I get it. Like he's mad. He thinks he's wasting his time. But then it's also like, that's a grown man. He he has a right to do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
if you have some input,
I felt some type of way about that too for a minute, and then I realized I think Vin was intentionally being a provocateur to cause you know what I mean? Like, and so looking at that way, I'm like, okay, I mean, still kind of cunty, but
that's
okay.
that. Now you're in Austin Peterson territory where you're talking about, you know, nuking Japan just to get likes or followers or get the algorithm on your side. I guess.
I mean, but I think the difference is, I mean, don't get me wrong, like Austin Pearson, I don't know if he believes that or not. I mean, I think he probably does. But Vin was saying something he legitimately believed. He was just saying it in an antagonizing manner.
Yes.
Which makes sense on Twitter. Because, like, if you're trying to cause, I mean, and Vin's even said that. Like, he's all about the magic. He's all about, you know, making, you know, it's kind of like the Edward Bernays propaganda stuff. Like, and I can get it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't like how he came at Dave. But at the same time, if he had... Do you really think if he had tweeted at Dave, like, hey, Dave, here are my principled objections to your current, you know, political trajectory and blah, 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 blah. Like, he would have ignored it.
This is an issue. This is an issue with Dave Smith, too. Yeah. It's like, I make T-shirts, but let me tell you about this issue with Dave Smith is that if you want to get a response from him, call him a faggot or something, you know, like it's just the nature of these things. Like even on my Twitter page, there's like people that I don't follow, and I'm constantly seeing their tweets. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I intentionally don't follow you, but Twitter puts it up there because maybe it can read like the anger or just the disgust on my face when I see it. I'm like, why do you keep showing this shit to me? And
retweets from people you know and shit, because or likes or comments, and so that's just popping up. So I mean, that is one shitty thing about Twitter. It is very much driven by this like hate thing, which to some extent I kind of love it. I kind of love it for
Let
that.
Let it flow through you.
I kind of love it. Like I love this shit, and it's like it's so much different than Facebook, because Facebook is like that is a place where you go. I mean, not anymore, but it used to be before it was like super like shitty. That could be a place you could go and you could have a long, you know, thought out, you know, structured debate, blah, blah, blah. But like in some sense, I'm not even in the spot where I really want to debate people. Like I will throw out concepts, and if someone comes at me some type of way, I'll be like, just send them back some fucking, you know, I'll just be like, you know, the joke is like on Twitter, like, you know, well, your opinion is pee pee poo poo or something. You know, like I don't care. I have no, like for the most part, depending on how you come at me, I generally have no interest in like really debating you. Like I just want to fuck with you.
Have you ever seen,
throw out ideas?
You ever seen the meme of the guy? He's in like a bathroom stall, and he's got his hands on one side and his feet on the other side, and he's pissing and shitting at the same time, just right on the floor. Yeah. And I'm like, that's exactly how I use Facebook. I turned off my notifications, so I don't know if they're even talking back to me. I go there, I'm like, I just drop some bullshit and I let you fight about it. And then I go on Twitter and talk with you guys.
Yeah.
Which, it's an issue though. This is a big issue because Vin is right to use Twitter in such a manner because I'm maybe he got followers off of it. He definitely got a lot of engagement. I mean, freaking Hotep Jesus wrote a book. Have you read Hotep Jesus' book about that?
No, but I know that's a big thing of his, and it makes sense. It's just you manipulating social media, you know, that's all it is. Like, yeah,
it actually got me. I haven't been using the tactics as much, but when I wanted to get some more attention, I started to use those tactics, and then it kind of correlated when I put up my artwork and more people see the shit. So there's something to it because once you understand the algorithm, then you kind of game it. But it's just shitty, you know. It's just really there's no. There's nothing being like solved or spoken about that's good most of the time.
Yeah, I know it is like even the people who like you were mentioned Dave and how it is like that's the best way to get a hold of him is call him a faggot. But like it is like the same time like and it's like him and others will, and I'm not really trying to be accusatory, but like they will very much be like, you know, like, oh, we're trying to have unity and we're gonna ignore these people that are bad actors and blah blah blah. But then they'll fall right into it. But at the same time, like you gotta think if you're him scrolling that timeline, what is it showing him? Like that's what it's showing him. And so it's like he probably isn't seeing the people who are like, hey man, you know, I don't know, I'd like to see you for or this or oh great show or I don't know, like actual principled things or like, hey, we could talk about this or whatever. So it's just the hate that rises to the top on Twitter, and that's just the nature of the beast.
But I fall for it too, man. Like sometimes I'll post something and they'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool or this and that, and I'll just be like, yeah, like. And then somebody says something shitty, and I'm thinking the whole day, I'm like, what should I say to this motherfucker? But then I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna say anything because I realize the game. So I just like I'll leave it alone. But that's the one that I'm like, I should answer him back. I should say something. If
I
it's
mean,
a guy.
I don't try to fight it when it comes to like Twitter. Cause I mean, I totally made like, I don't remember what I said, but I made some joke tweet once before. They're like, hey, like this is like, or like, I don't remember what I said, but something along the lines of like, oh, all these people saying, oh, we should be polite and have these great conversations and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, motherfucker, this is Twitter. Like we're clowning in this bitch. Like,
this is a toilet bowl.
like, so it is like, to some extent, I also do kind of get annoyed with people that are like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm like annoyed with you, but there are a lot of people who are like, well, we should all just get along in unity or this or that on Twitter. But it's like, go somewhere else, because that's not what Twitter is. Like,
I'm not saying that. I'm just stating that this is what Twitter is.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't partake all the time. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't spend my whole day on Twitter if I didn't enjoy this insanity. But I just like, sometimes I'll take part of it, sometimes I won't. You know, and I try not. I'm like, God, I try not to. I try not to take part in it, because it's just like, I don't know how like the Ace does this. I don't know how he does this all day. It's fucking crazy. He just goes and everything he posts back to these people is a zinger too. I'm like, man, your brain is fantastic. I don't know how you do this.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's got to take a lot of patience, because like I say that, but I used to be the guy who would argue on Facebook all the time. But Facebook is set up so much differently to where it is like, you don't have the character limit. It's just like the whole template is just more set up to be able to have these long form discussions. Whereas Twitter is not. It's a pain in the ass to have a long discussion with someone on Twitter. So it's like you aren't worth my time to that extent where I'm going to make long threads to devote to like countering every point you bring up. And it's like, to some extent, it's just like, I'm just going to call you a retard and move on. Like, I just don't have time for you.
Yeah, the character limit definitely saved me from like, sometimes I'll write like, I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, let me tell you about this and that. And then it's like, oh, wait, 180. I'm like, fuck this whole thing. So I just delete it. I'm like, I'm not even going to bother. Facebook, you can go down that. And I've learned again, you know what, even if I'm talking to these people in real life, I've had a discussion with some of these people. I cooked dinner for them. They came to my house, we sat down, and I've had a discussion with it, with them being okay with the state imposing violence on me. I said something like, I don't remember. It was something to the effect of like, all right, well, I'm selling these t-shirts. I made X amount of money. How much is okay for the state to take from my kids? And they'll tell you with a straight face, this like, yeah, no, you should be paying taxes, whatever the fuck. And I was like, but what if I don't? You're okay with just taking it from me? You're going to, and they'll say, yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm talking to these people. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done even typing.
No,
I'm just going to draw.
I've gone on multiple times. And that's like my thing. It's like, and I think to some extent, this discourse we're talking about here and how we aren't like really wanting debate, to some extent, we are kind of driving what we want, because, or at least what I want. Like, I kind of want a divide to some extent. Like, if anything, I see that is if we create a rift between us and them, like, and I'm not saying this way that like we're gonna go fight or whatever. Like, I mean, maybe they will, but I don't want to. But I just want to have, whether it's intellectually or even physically, I want to create a rift where it's like, like these are my people and these are those people, and fucking like, like. That's that, like kind of like, I know a lot of people talk about secession. I've talked about having like soft secession or nullification or soft nullification, where it's just like, you have areas where it's like, well, yeah, we just don't do that. And I feel like to some extent, this discourse we're talking about, where we just almost to some extent just disregard them. You're like, I have no interest in discussing this with you. I mean, it's one thing. You do have to understand, like, if you can see a glimmer of someone like legitimately being like, oh, I'm interested in your perspective, blah, blah, blah. But if it's someone who's just like, to some extent, the remnant concept is a great concept for a reason. Because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I guess to some extent, no one's beyond saving. But at the same time, not everyone's worth your time. Yeah. So, you know.
I think memes, too, are a good, they're a good indicator of the remnant. Like, first, you have to like really scratch someone, have them develop a callus if they're not ready yet. Then when they get that callus, you'll see if they're strong enough to question more about what you're saying. And then maybe you could talk to them seriously after. Maybe I actually red-pilled somebody. I guess this is the way to go about it. So she's a family friend and having problems with her mother and all that. And I would always talk to her about like liberty shit like that. And at one point I said, you know what? If your mother's causing all these issues and your family issues, why don't you just move out? Oh, I can't afford it right now. So you know what? Come and move in with me and my wife. We have a spare bedroom at the time. She came, she moved in, and I was like, do whatever you want, but be autonomous and try to figure out the next step. And she did. Now she's like married, and she's renting. She has an apartment with her boyfriend, longtime boyfriend. She's getting married, but and she went from like a Democrat to, I moved her all the way over to like, I think she voted for Trump this election, which is like not quite my intention, but
the right direction, sort of.
Just keep going. And then I showed her the Waco documentary and all this shit, and I can see the seeds of oh, you froze there a little bit. Whatever. I can see the seeds of anarchy kind of sprouting in her. So it just takes time. And I think that's the way to approach people. Once you see that there's a little glimmer of light, if they want to listen, then you just keep red pilling them. And I find it's fun. It's fun for me, and it's best for me when I do it with humor and just like real like dark humor. If you don't get it, whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely something to memes. You bring up a good point where it's like that's a good way to like identify the remnant or remnant adjacent, like
freedom through memedom. Right?
Yeah,
that's one of the first books I bought from. I think Pete wrote that.
Yeah, Petey. Yeah. So one more question just for fun. Well, I guess a couple more. But the Boog. What are your thoughts on the Boog? Yes, no, dumb.
I thought the Boog was like big gay for a little while. But then I said, I don't know, Magnus kind of changed my mind. It's again one of those things where you see like a lot of like all these people are LARPing, being kind of corny. But I heard Magnus on the last few podcasts, and even Spike Cohen to a certain extent. I see like what he was doing with them. I don't know. You don't want that though. I think they know these people, the people that you're opposing. Let me say this. I think that they have their place when they're out there in the protests. I'm not out there, but they are. And they are kind of preventing some kind of maybe brutality from the police or whatever you might say. So that's good. But if you're a Boog boy and you think you're going to oppose the state in some way, it's like, no. They're professionals at violence. That's what they do. And they perfected. That's the only thing that they do good. You don't want that. I don't want that. I don't know. People that want a civil war, that they're saying, no, we're going to do, the Republicans are like, you don't want that either, because you're going to get shot in the gut, or your friend's going to get shot in the leg and bleed out. And it's like, it's not that simple where, I think your ideas are better than the opposing side, but that's not really how this works. Once bullets start flying, that's not what I want.
Yeah, I mean, really, it comes down to how you define it. And I've said this before. It's kind of the same thing where I've talked with Reed about the lib unity. It's really about like how you define it. Because like if you're like, say with lib unity, if you're saying I need to compromise my values in any way, no, fuck you. But like if you just want me to meet you where you're at and you meet me where I'm at and we'll kind of work together on things we agree on, sure, whatever. Like who cares? And that's like with the Boog, it's like if you're talking like civil war, like no, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like. But now if we're talking like defensive, collectivized, like or collectivized defense of some sort, like we work together to provide defense, whether it's from the state or whatever, sure. But like, yeah, basically if you're like ever working in an offensive capacity, like I know a lot of people will be like, well, 1776, I do think if there was ever a movement that was like, captivating enough, we could overthrow the government. But now I don't think that's the way to go. I think you're going to cause a whole lot more problems than you fix. Like at absolute best, you may end up with a marginally better government, but at what cost? At the cost of probably millions of deaths. You know what I mean? Like, and it's going to end up probably just being back to where it was or worse. And most likely, most revolutions end with like whatever takes over is usually worse than what was there before. Yeah. So like that's just generally not the way. But now if you're just talking about like we want a collectivized group that like will defend against the state if the state causes problems, sure. But if you ever take on any offensive capacity, it is probably going to be an issue. And like, and it's not to say that the state doesn't deserve it. It's just a matter of tactically. Like that's I don't think it's going to work out well for you.
No, they use your own money. They use your own money to create weaponry that you probably can't imagine to kill you. So that's not the right way to do it. You just put a thought in my head. Oh man, Lost it. You said, I think you were talking about opposing. Oh, taking down the government. I don't know. This is what I was gonna say. The people, who want revolution, you can have a bloody revolution, and like you said, it'll be replaced with some other kind of government. But the people who want that, who are pushing for that, who seems like they already have what they want set in place. Look at this, like the Davos crew and the World Economic Forum. They already have what they want set in place. We don't. We have some nice books and some theory, but we don't really have anything set in place. Pete said a while ago, the world is crumbling. Start building what you want to see in its place.
Yep.
And he's right, but we haven't done that to the extent that we need to. So I don't know. And as far as taking down the government, it's kind of an absurd idea. I think the government's taking down itself. So just enjoy the show. Watch. I mean, look what we have here. We have a guy, we have a president with no hands, he's falling downstairs. Yeah. You have a cop. I mean, this is a complete joke. Even the facade of democracy. Well, I don't know what you think about the election or whatever happened, but I know that most of the people on the right, at least, think it was a legitimate. The people I know. So there you go. Yeah. It's not going to last.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it probably was. I mean, I know the big thing is like, it's kind of like, even if they did cheat, like, well, that's politics, baby. Like,
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, cheating's kind of part of the game. It's like, I don't know. I think, God, who is it? Molbug, who always brings up water polo as an example when it comes to politics, and how like the refs can't see what's going on in the water. So they're always fucking each other up on the water. And it's kind of, well, that's part of the game, like, get used to it. But no, it is like, I have joke a lot that like Biden's my favorite president, because it's like he has been a perfect example of like, why this is all horseshit. Like, but so let's finish off with what are your major influences? What are your big influences that moved you along that you're thinking?
Where did it start? I guess it started with Donald Trump, man. Go figure that. I was sort of political, but not really. I guess I was a Democrat, but not really. And then Trump came in, and that whole movement, and I started to notice people really losing their shit. So I said, all right, let me pay attention to what's going on here. There was actually a point in time I mentioned on Tommy's podcast. I used to work. I used to build railroad tracks and all that. And I was working in the middle of the night, and it was on election day, and it's like 3 a.m. and one guy from down the track just screams like, ah. So we're like, oh shit, someone got like, pinching a rail or whatever. And we're like, what happened? And he's like, Donald Trump won. And the guy had like it was like a guttural scream. And I was like, oh, this is real. So I was like, all right, I'm paying attention. I started to pay attention to what this guy's doing, started to catch up on like, I don't know, all this like conservative Republican shit. Then obviously you go down Ben Shapiro, and then that leads you to Dave Rubin and then, Joe Rogan, all the shit. And at the time, the intellectual dark web, you remember that day shit?
The intellectual dark web. Yeah, I was big there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, and I'm glad I listened to him. And Jordan Peterson came along with that. And I think I extracted some value from that. But during the intellectual dark web, there was a point where they were saying like, oh, you need to be open-minded and listen to everyone on both sides. And we have to debate and this, that Dave Rubin shit, like the milquetoast stuff. So I was very much there. Then I was walking my dog, and some YouTube started to play the next episode. And the next episode was Dave Smith on Joe Rogan, like one of his old episodes. And I was like, oh, who is this? Who is this lefty? Because he right away he starts like talking about some shit that I'm like, no. But I said, you know what? Intellectual dark web says I should listen and hear it out and hear ideas. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, that's it. Once I listened to that episode, it was like 3 hours. Like, yeah, that's it. All the rest of you guys are what? Fake and gay. So, and then from there, obviously, you go, then you get introduced to all kinds of stuff, and then you start to read, and then you start to really, really get autistic into this little space here. So yeah, it happened pretty rapidly. Like a lot of my ideas had to they were manifested and just murdered like almost instantly. But I don't know. That's just how it happened. now here I am. Yeah.
Well,
So I guess Dave.
Oh yeah, Dave for sure. I mean, that seems to be the for a lot of us. Dave was definitely a big part of my coming to. Like, he's what I attribute me to being an anarchist to, is him. With that's probably a good spot to kill it at. You want to go and drop your plugs?
Oh yeah, TopLobsta.com. TopLobsta with an A. You can see it right there at the bottom. And check out Break the Cycle. I draw all the thumbnails for that, and we're really working to make that like a decent show, so we could propagandize people with like pretty pictures and then also a libertarian message. So check that stuff out, and check out No Way Jose, even though you're here already.
Hell yeah, do that.
Yeah, man.
Go check out that. As always, I'm on the No Way Jose YouTube channel. I'm on basically anywhere audio podcasts are at. You can contact me at thelibertymovementglobal@gmail.com. Give me money at patreon.com/nowayjose2020, or give me crypto at endthefed.app of the same moniker there. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you're watching this, go sub. Trying to hit 300. That way I can be uncancelable. Well, actually, really, it's just so I can be lazy and not have to manually update.
And we got to set you up with some merch. I got to
fucking do it.
Yeah.
You'll get like at least 2 sales.
No, you have to get merch. You have to be autonomous.
Oh, I was trying to like you fucking made the branding. I figure it's only fair. You make the, I don't know, give me an affiliate link or some shit. I'll get like whatever %. There you go. Fucking,
I will figure it out.
Rising tide raises all ships, all that good stuff. No, you did the branding. No reason you don't make some money off it. So, but I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's actually been a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
With that, deuces.